I want everyone to take 5 seconds and look around. I want you to look and see how much plastic is in your general area. In your computer you're using, in your pens, in the table and chairs you're sitting at, and the lunch that you probably brought here is filled with plastic. This is becoming an epidemic. We are using too much plastic and it is harmful to our bodies and our environment. Due to the overwhelming risk to the population and the environment, the United States people need to understand the production, use, and disposal of plastics and make better, more informed decisions for themselves and the environment. Plastic is harmful to the human's body. When working in plastic factories, many people are in daily contact with harmful chemicals which help in the production of plastic. One of these main chemicals is actually called styrene. Catherine Zondella is somebody who has done a lot of research, and she has stated that there are several studies of individuals who work in styrene manufacturing facilities have found that these people have an increased risk of lymphoma and leukemia based on the chemicals that they're surrounded by each day. Also with that, people working around these facilities or factories have issues and have noticed ailment because of being in so much contact with the pollution and it seeping into their water supplies. Zendoli also talks about how this is harmful to the people around these areas as well. Leaching is also a common issue when it comes to plastic. When plastic's heated or used multiple times, a lot of the time the chemicals from the actual product will stream into whatever the actual food or water or beverage that you're drinking, which is harmful to the human body. Water bottles are one of the main issues in the plastic industry. The National Resource Defense Council states that people spend 240 to 1,000 times more per gallon for bottled water than they would tap water. Many a times the price is so marked up and there's issues basically with the plastic actually leaching into the water and creating a dangerous product. In the article 12 Reasons to Stop Drinking Bottled Water, it breaks down some key points. Like 88% of water bottles that are used are actually not recycled, they're actually just thrown away, which equals about 30 million bottles of plastic are thrown away each day, which is an extremely high number. And also in the documentary Tapped, bottled water it's explained that bottled water actually does not have to go through any FDA regulation testing if it's not transferred in between states. So therefore the water that actually isn't being tested for any harmful chemicals or anything like that. And when you actually drink water, in other terms, you may as well drink tap water because that's actually tested up to like 300 times per month based on FDA regulations. So basically we're paying high extreme amounts for actual dirty water. Plastic's also bad for our environment. With all of the uses of plastic, with the water bottles and plastic grocery bags, it has made a huge impact on the destruction of our environment. When plastic bottles and bags and one-time use plastics are thrown away, they most end up in a landfill and not actually recycled, which takes a long time for it to disintegrate and break down because they aren't actually disintegrating products. So it's taking thousands of years. And often this will spill over into waterways, and which eventually gets to like our beaches and stuff, making it unsightly. dirty area with plastic bottles laying around. And then, more often than not, they'll end up actually in the ocean or in the waterways, which causes harm to animals because the plastic actually, sometimes they'll eat the plastic, or many times the plastic breaks down to where they see that it looks like a food source and they swallow it, and their bodies aren't able to digest it, so they end up dying. There's actually an area in the ocean, it's in Gyre, where the two ocean currents meet over in the Pacific, and it's filled so much with plastic that there's actually more plastic particles than there is plankton, which is showing how severe the issue is becoming with plastic being thrown into our oceans, maybe not directly into our ocean, but ending up getting there, which causes animals to have to leave their habitats, which creates an issue within like the food webs, where animals are leaving or dying off, creating even more issues. What needs to happen is the United States needs to reduce their dependency on plastic. They need to understand the dangers of it on themselves and on the environment. We could all make small changes to make plastic not so presentable into our environment in our lives. We basically need to reduce the amount of plastic that we're using and that we're disposing. By simply deciding to purchase a plastic or a plastic reusable water bottle, or even a glass water bottle, we would cut down significantly on the amount of plastic simply by that 30 million plastic bottles per day that are being thrown away. By having conscientious thought process to use and discard of plastic, we've gotten so consumed with being able to be on the go, we're using one-time plastics for pretty much everything we do. And instead, if we just planned a little bit more carefully, we wouldn't be needing to do this, and we could create to the point where plastic's not an issue because it wouldn't be in such mass supplies that we're using it. And then we can continue on the destructive path that we are on by using plastics and discarding them with no thought or decision on making it not a horrible situation, or we can decide to make small changes in our life to reduce the amount that we are using and to recycle as much as possible to protect ourselves and our children.